Hey, what's up? Thanks for joining us for part 2 of the featured image tutorial. Last week we talked about how to take an image from something like Photo Booth into Photoshop and prep it before we take it to the paper camera application on your mobile device to manipulate it. And that's what we're going to do right now. Okay, we're going to jump over to the mobile device and use this application called Paper Camera, which is available for iOS and Android. Not sure about Windows Mobile. I believe it's $2.99, and not only will it do a paper camera manipulation of existing still images, it will also do manipulation of images that you take right off your camera at the time, or video images and all that good stuff. It's pretty cool, and we talked about it in episode 3 of The Multimedia Ninja, and you can find that at themultimedianinja.com/3. So obviously we're working on the mobile device now, having saved a JPEG image out of Photoshop onto our Google Drive folder, which of course allows us to access the file on this device or whatever else you got set up on Google Drive. Now there is a wrinkle that I've found, and if it doesn't happen to you, then awesome, you're blessed. But I've found that when I go over to the mobile device, if I just jump into Paper Camera and try and import the file that's on the Google Drive folder that I just saved to Google Drive, sometimes it doesn't seem to be there. So I find what I have to do is actually go into Google Drive first and just kind of let Google Drive do its little thing and show that it's there and go from there. I don't know why, so let me know if your results vary, but here's what happens. I happen to have all my Google stuff in a little Google folder at the top of my home screen, so I open that folder and then I click on the Google Drive icon. So now we're in Google Drive, and we're just going to navigate to the Podcasts folder, to the Multimedia Ninja subfolder, and the Featured Images folder under that, which probably I could have stored it somewhere a little easier to access, but that's just how we're rolling today. And you'll see our image there, which you can click on and make sure we got the right crazy thing there. So here's where iOS devices and Android are going to diverge just a little bit, and it's a source of a rant I did a couple of weeks ago. But in iOS devices, you can't go straight from here into Paper Camera to just share to Paper Camera and open it up automatically. So you'd have to jump out of here, open up Paper Camera, and then import the file, which is not a huge deal, but a little frustrating if you do it over and over. But if you're on an Android device, what you're going to do is just click on the little info icon for the Google Drive item, and you'll see Send File. You'll hit that, and then you may have to hit a little ellipsis that says More, but you will see the Paper Camera as one of your choices, hopefully. And when you tap on Paper Camera, voila! Your image opens in the Paper Camera app. Pretty awesome. Okay, so now we're in the Paper Camera app, and it's pretty cool. Remember what I was saying, I seem to have this problem with Google Drive, and I find you may too. That's why we went through locating the file on Google Drive and then opening it that way, which, as I said, you can't do on iOS devices. But if you have an iPhone or iPad, I find that I still have to go through that exercise of going into Google Drive and locating the file and making sure it is in that Google Drive folder on that device, because if I just jump into Paper Camera, that's not going to show up sometimes. I don't know why. If it works for you, great, but I have that issue. Nonetheless, if you have gone through that exercise on your iOS device, or if you're just in Paper Camera and you want to import a file that you know is on the device, you just click on the little green menu icon at the bottom of the picture, and then you can navigate to whatever folder that you need to bring the image in. In this case, we're in the Google Drive folder. So anyway, looking around the interface here, I'm not going to go through everything, but you'll notice some settings. In this case, you'll see contrast, brightness, and lines, and they may differ for different settings, presets on here. Note that if you click on the little ellipsis above those, you will get some other choices. So you have typically 2 sets of things to adjust, and you can swap back and forth with the ellipsis thing there and adjust things to your taste. And then when you get things the way you want them, you can click on the little blue floppy disk, and that will save the image. And you'll notice that you get a little rabbit ears with arrows kind of icon. I don't know what that is, but that shows that your image has been saved, typically to a folder in your gallery on the device called Paper Images, something like that. By clicking the arrows at the top of the interface, you can access different presets. And what I do is I just go along and pick a few, like Comic Boom, that I may think I'll find useful in the final Photoshop layers. Gotham Noir I tend to use for light and dark values in certain layers. And I just save as I go along the ones that I think I'm going to find useful and get ready to jump back into Photoshop. Okay, so now we have saved several different variations from the paper camera application into what you will probably find is the Paper Pictures directory. In our case, it's going to be in the gallery folder in our mobile device on the HTC. So to get those back to your laptop or desktop with Photoshop, what we're going to need to do is share those into the Google Drive folder so it will synchronize across your different devices back to your desktop computer. And remember, you may need to make sure that you're on Wi-Fi, certainly save you a little bit of money, and it will be much faster. And you need to make sure that both your mobile device and your target computer are connected to the internet so that the files can synchronize. That said, we'll just go back to our home screen into, in this case, the gallery folder or application, and we'll look for the Paper Pictures directory. You'll see the latest photos that we just exported from Paper Camera. We'll hit the little share icon, and we'll select the Google Drive as the target, and then it'll give us an option to select the ones that we want to share. We'll select those, and then we'll hit Next. And then it's simply a matter of picking the destination folder that we want to save these into and finish up and give it a little bit of time to synchronize, hopefully not too long. And you should be able to bring these photos back into Photoshop on your desktop machine. Pretty cool. So that wraps up part 2 of our featured image tutorial. If you found it interesting, I'd be grateful if you want to give us a thumbs up or share it with your friends. And next time we will be back with the final part 3, where we bring the paper camera images back into Photoshop to make the final podcast featured image. And I hope you'll join us at themultimedianinja.com for the actual podcast. Till then, cheers.
We'll be right back.